You know, all things considered, this year genuinely started good. Most of the shit we've gotten this winter and spring was either good or at worst a resounding meh, which is already better than the previous season and 2016 in general. The downside of this, however, is that there's a lot of shit that I'm kinda interested in, and there probably won't be enough time for anything of that sort in between seasons. But considering that spring 2017 so far offered nothing that specifically caught my attention, maybe the entirety of autumn will be nothing but me rambling about historical and pseudo-historical whatever. Oh, and speaking about pseudo-historical, ACCA 13 is an anime about a fictional kingdom of Dowa, a peaceful country that is best described as what would happen if we took Nazi Germany, USA and USSR, blend them all together and added a bit of Japan into it, situated on either the most biologically diverse island in the world, or a continent that looks like a bastard child of Twitter and peace off, and the internal workings of the aforementioned ACCA 13, a civilian organization that on paper regulates all agencies within the kingdom's 13 regions, but in reality it, for all intents and purposes, is ruling the entire country like the big socialistic blob that it is. Excluding the subplots, there are three main heroes in this story. Gene Otis, the second in command of the ACCA Inspection Agency, aka basically Special Police, Lotte Otis, his sister, whose personality constantly jumps from reasonably smart to levels of naivety only Princess Peach can topple, and his friend Nino, who... well... I mean, if that's not a man who just screams, "I am a plot twist," then I don't know what is. Since I've mentioned subplots, it would be worthwhile to say at least something about them. Don't worry, no spoilers. Detailed, at least. Basically, all of them can be described as diplomacy at its finest, and one of many reasons why I try my best to avoid political discussions like the fucking plague. The graphics here are overall quite good, although they reminded me of One Piece for some reason. The opening theme and visuals are actually entertaining and do their job quite well, although the ending was slightly less lively and sounded more like your average, sad Japanese pop song. The rest of the soundtrack was more generic than a potato and monotonous, but as you've probably guessed already, that's essentially 92% of every movie, video game and anime made after 1942. But sarcasm and Nazi jokes aside, this anime is actually not that bad, all things considered. It gives exactly what it offers with the right amount of action, politics and cake eating, while never derailing too much or going into unnecessary shit. It doesn't have your average lowly savants, and the cultural diversity that these regions offer is something you don't actually see in a lot of anime, even if, barring a few episodes, the show never lingers on them too much that an average viewer can memorize them. So where did they fuck it all up? Well, for an average viewer, it would probably be pacing, characters, and the plot itself. While the story was told very competently and the plot thickens with every new episode, the show relies too heavily on lore dumps so massive that they might as well be a rehearsal of some history books. And while this information is vital in understanding what the hell is even happening on the screen, a lot of people will find such way of storytelling to be tedious or boring, and not that I could blame them for that. The characters almost universally have only three types of faces: a poker face, a I hate everything face, and a smug grin that also might annoy people. But what actually annoyed me is the Japanese voice acting. Not only 90% of the lines were delivered in a monotonous fashion, but also for the first time in my life I could actually hear when a male had a distinctive female voice, which is, while not the biggest sin in the world, was definitely irritating. And finally, the plot is what today is considered to be the biggest sin of them all: predictable. 19th century literature predictable, in fact, and that is why I can guarantee that many critics will probably bash the title harshly. As for me, even though I acknowledge that I guessed everything besides the actual ending, I never had any problems with it. You see, critical snobism is a common disease among those who call themselves critics, in many ways because reviewing products is their job. But it won't take long until the critic will grow tired of what he's doing, starts generalizing, and try to find himself something new while bashing everything that is in any way conformist. The reason why I do not call myself a critic is because I, at least in this incarnation, believe that every product deserves to be treated as an individual product, and would rather watch something predictable but decently made than something avant-garde that offers me nothing besides a pretty picture and a lot of overthinking. So yes, I am literally Hitler.